Welcome, bienvenidos to our Committee of the Whole meeting for April 18th, sorry. We will now do our roll call. Director Sproul,
Here.
Director Smith,
Here.
Director Decker,
I'm here.
and Director Barros.
Here.
And I am also here, and we're all in attendance. We have quorum. I will now turn this over to Dr. Snell to lead us through this meeting.
Thank you, Director Zavala Ortega, and it's good to see everyone on Zoom this evening. We've been having just talking about the rainstorms, and the spring feels like it's trying to come, and we're excited. We're already halfway through April, and I know it's a busy time as we think about finishing up this year strong and also looking ahead to next year. Tonight on the Committee of the Whole agenda, like we do in this meeting traditionally, is we're previewing the May board meeting agenda. And so we have a draft of that agenda that Brett Bleckschmidt will walk you through this evening. And then welcome to ask questions either today in this meeting, or also follow up with staff so that we can provide the board with information prior to the May 9th regular board meeting. So with that, Brett, are you ready to kind of walk through this draft agenda?
Yes, I am. And so if that's where we're all, or if I will propose to share my screen so we can look at the items as we discuss them. And let's see. All right, have I successfully pulled up the agenda?
Yes.
All right, thank you all. So yeah, we'll start with the contract section of the agenda, and as we do, we'll just march through quickly. Certainly interrupt for questions if you have any. The first proposed contract that we are recommending is a purchase agreement number 2023-013 with Madden Industrial Craftsman. And as you can see, they facilitate internships for our students, paid internships with our students. This contract would be in the amount of $70,000 plus Washington State sales tax. I should also highlight that that's through the CTE Career and College Readiness work that we do with those students. Moving on to the next one, we have a recommendation to amend the ProTech working conditions. ProTech, as you know, is one of our working groups, our employee groups that support, or I guess, include the unrepresented classified staff, primarily in administrative support type roles. And it appears our HR department is recommending a technical correction more than a substantive one in terms of how employees in this group would qualify for vacation, and I'm not sure if that's salary placement as well, but it looks like vacation accrual, which I think brings it in line with the statutes regarding previous years of experience in Washington school districts. Hearing no questions on that, we'll move into our more traditional contracts at this, at least for the last few years, relating to our bond or significant improvements. This one happens to be a maintenance project, but it's pretty significant. We're recommending that you award quote number 2023-011 to BLRB Architects to initiate the tenant improvements at Skyview High School. As you can see, this project will accommodate the new family community resource center and do some other remodeling to facilitate additional classroom space that we've worked with the staff at Skyview to design and prioritize. This particular contract for that design work is $68,045.50 plus Washington State sales tax.
Right, I have a question on this. It says the funding source is maintenance projects fund. Is that different than, because I know usually building like building improvements and things come out of the, like the bond fund. Is this different, or is that like a subgroup of?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I didn't notice it. It is the maintenance department within the general fund. So,
Okay.
yeah, I might amend that before it gets posted to the final agenda. But it's, yeah, maintenance is a part of our general fund. And so this one is relatively smaller in scope and really, as we're winding down the bond projects now, we're starting to kind of see where there's funding available to slot these types of projects between the bond and the general fund. This one
Okay.
fell into that general fund category.
Okay.
So thank you for the question. Now we'll move on to a great project that we're happy to facilitate. It's not one that's necessarily directly relating to our core work with students, but as you know, we have a partnership with the Free Clinic for the space at the Jim Parsley Center. Since it's on our property and technically they're our tenant, it needs to be our project in the eyes of the state and statutorily. But they will be reimbursing us for, they've already done some study work that they've reimbursed us for. This would be the next phase after the study. They believe they have the funds to proceed and are excited about remodeling and expanding that space. So they are asking us to engage Johansson Architects. And the preliminary contract amount is $174,470 plus Washington State sales tax. And again, this would all be reimbursed. We'll pay it out of the general fund, but be reimbursed from the Free Clinics fundraisers for all costs associated with this update. Great project, and obviously they're a great partner and provide a lot of incredibly valuable services to our students as well as their families. Moving on. We have a number of kind of at the conclusion of the bond projects. This is just a commissioning report that requires formal acceptance from the board. The commissioning process or the commissioning report process is required of the state for projects where we received state match. Our staff has reviewed it. We believe it's in conformity with the requirements and achieves the objectives. So we would ask that you approve the commissioning report for Heights Campus remodel. Moving along, this one obviously is another completed project, and thankfully so, at Columbia River High School. We recommend that you accept bid number 2021-027, and that was the scope of project at Columbia River involving the 800 wing addition or new construction, as well as the concession stand and stadium work that was done. So we're happy to say the project has been completed to our satisfaction, and all of the consultants and architects that worked on it have reviewed it. And so we recommend that you accept that project as complete. And the final cost was $5,816,698.85 plus Washington State sales tax, and that one was funded entirely by the bond project or the bond funding source. Moving on to our next completed project. This one was originally purchase agreement number 2022-005. It's a roof replacement at Fruit Valley Elementary. And again, the work was done by Rooftoppers Inc. And we're pleased to have that work completed, and we're satisfied with that. The final amount of that project was $697,412.04 plus Washington State sales tax. That also was paid from capital project or bond funds. And then lastly, in this section, we have a recommendation to accept as completed bid number 2022-024. It's an asbestos abatement at Hudson's Bay High School. The Project was awarded to Performance Abatement Services of Vancouver. The final cost was $102,780 plus Washington State. Any questions on any of those before we transition? All right. Well, then we can go ahead and just move through the agenda. I think we have lost Jeff, so I'll go ahead and help navigate the last two items we have. Both of them, there's no policy matters for you to consider tonight. But we do have a couple teaching and learning items to review. The first one is some instructional materials. And so I believe you have the opportunity to review this list. And so we won't go through all of them individually, but certainly if there's anything on there that you have specific questions about. I don't know that we have anybody else on the call tonight, so that would certainly be the opportunity for you to work with Jeff to get the appropriate questions answered via the appropriate staff within the district.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions, but I'll follow up with staff just for clarifications.
All right, I appreciate that. Then the last item that we have tonight is a recommendation for out-of-state travel. And looks like our students in the orchestra at VSAA have a very exciting trip that they've planned and obviously done some great fundraising for. They're requesting permission to go to Anaheim, California, and perform and do all kinds of exciting things through Disney, as well as World Strides Heritage, that festival, or done that. Yeah, Heritage Festival. Looks like they're actually going to get to lay down some tracks. So that will be exciting for them. So any questions on that? All right, well, I think that it concludes the agended items, so I will turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Brett. You did great. I just wanted to also wish all our employees a happy All Staff Appreciation Week. To our staff at Vancouver School District, thank you all for all your hard work and for all your dedication and passion for our students. Any other of our board directors would want to say anything? Comments?
I will echo that sentiment. Thank you to all of our amazing staff.
Thank you, everyone. And that adjourns our Committee of the Whole meeting at 5:44 p.m. Thank you.